What can I do for you?
Hello, and thank you for joining me. I'm Kimberlei Davis. How does the newly released Apple HomePod stack up against all the others? Plus, President Trump slams the Me Too movement after he broke his silence following the resignation of 2 White House staffers amid allegations of domestic abuse.
I saw smoke and fire. Just hear the fire burning the helicopter. It's just really hard to watch something when you can't help.
And 3 people were killed in a helicopter crash in the Grand Canyon. Those trending headlines, celebrity birthdays, and your moment in history. That's all coming up next, today, Monday, February 12th. Let's get right to the latest on President Trump and the firestorm over his swipe at the Me Too movement. The president tweeting in support of people who are, quote, falsely accused and destroyed after 2 White House staffers resigned amid allegations of domestic abuse. ABC's senior White House correspondent Cecilia Vega has more from Washington.
This morning, a scathing and public takedown of the President of the United States from one of the ex-wives accusing former White House Staff Secretary Rob Porter of domestic abuse. Jenny Willoughby blasting that moment President Trump broke his silence about the allegations. He never mentioned the women. Instead, he praised Porter.
We certainly wish him well. It's a obviously tough time for him. He also, as you probably know, he says he's innocent. And I think you have to remember that.
Willoughby writing in Time magazine, I was floored. My friend turned to me and said, the President of the United States just called you a liar. Yes, and so he did. The bombshell claims made by Willoughby and Colby Holderness, including these photos of Holderness's black eye, sending the White House into chaos. Willoughby accusing President Trump of setting a frightening tone for the nation, and she says he delivered a clear message. Quote, if the most powerful people in the nation do not believe my story of abuse in the face of overwhelming evidence, then what hope do others have of being heard? Over the weekend, the president fanning the flames with this tweet. People's lives are being shattered and destroyed by a mere allegation. Is there no such thing any longer as due process? Porter denies the allegations, the White House now doing damage control.
Does the president believe that Rob Porter is falsely accused?
Well, Rob Porter no longer works at the White House. The president believes, as he said the other day, you have to consider all sides.
At the center of the controversy, Chief of Staff John Kelly, who initially showered public praise on Porter. Now President Trump furious at Kelly and White House Communications Director Hope Hicks, who is romantically linked to Porter. Sources tell ABC News Kelly told President Trump he'd be willing to resign.
I spoke with the president last night about this very issue. He has full confidence in his current chief of staff, General John Kelly.
In Time magazine, Willoughby says the response sends the wrong message. Quote, if someone finds the strength and courage to come forward, he or she is to be believed.
Thanks, Cecilia. Now to the deadly helicopter crash in the Grand Canyon that killed 3 people on a sightseeing tour. This morning, 4 others are fighting for their lives. ABC's senior transportation correspondent David Curley has the latest on the investigation.
In the fiery explosion that followed the helicopter crash, witnesses say walking away from the wreckage right there is a survivor.
Emergency, Grand Canyon West for helo down.
In the steep, rugged canyon, 4 survivors in all, including the pilot.
The will to survive kicks in. And as you know, it's a fight or flight syndrome that we have inherent in every one of us. And I'm sure that had a lot to do with their survival.
But it was not an easy rescue. First responders, before 6 in the evening, facing a 20-minute hike in the rugged terrain. They didn't airlift everyone out for more than 8 hours, saying 50-mile-an-hour winds hampered their efforts. Witnesses saw the helicopter circling in a strange manner.
I saw smoke and fire. Just hear the fire burning the helicopter. It's just really hard to watch something when you can't help.
The flight took off carrying 6 British tourists and the pilot from outside Las Vegas. The company, which extended sympathy and says it's cooperating fully with investigators, says it flies 600,000 passengers a year. The NTSB database listing 19 accident reports involving Papillon over the past 25 years, including another deadly crash in 2001, which killed 6.
I think when people and families think about, are we going to get on that airplane, are we going to get on that helicopter, you need to have done your due diligence.
In the past 10 years, there have been 27 fatalities in sightseeing helicopter crashes, according to a search of the NTSB database. The 4 survivors are still being treated in Arizona hospitals. David Curley, ABC News, Washington.
A new competitor in the battle to make your house smarter. Apple is entering the market with their brand new HomePod, just released Friday. So how does it stack up against the other smart speakers out there? ABC's Becky Worley is here with a closer look.
Suddenly,
"Hey Google,"
and
"Alexa, what time is it?"
are totally commonplace phrases, but Apple now hoping
"Hey Siri."
will be the hot new request. It's estimated voice assistants are in 45 million U.S. homes, more than doubling since last year. So Apple's leap into this space makes a lot of sense.
And we call it HomePod.
Apple's smart speaker, HomePod, is all about music and keeping you in their iPhone, Apple TV, iTunes world.
One thing Apple is really good at is creating and feeding its ecosystem.
At a cost of $349, they are starting with a high-end speaker.
Woo! How's the bass? It sounds amazing, but this is a home assistant. So how does this stack up when it's time to get to work?
I asked Amazon's Alexa and Google Home to search, set timers, and control some smart devices like my thermostat. They did well, and so did HomePod.
Hey Siri, set a timer for 5 minutes. Hey Siri, what's the weather going to be like tomorrow?
The high will be 68 degrees, and the low will be 46.
Turn on the fish tank lights.
Done.
So while Amazon, Google, and Apple race to own your kitchen counter, and by extension, your whole home, which device is right for you?
What can I do for you?
In 1990, MC Hammer released Please, Hammer, Don't Hurt 'Em, featuring the hit single, You Can't Touch This. Happy birthday if you're celebrating today. You share the day with actor, talk show host Arsenio Hall. He's 62. Actress Joanna Kearns, best known for her role in one of my favorite throwback shows, Growing Pains. She's 65. Keyboardist Carrie Lewis of Mint Condition is 47. Well, that's our time for today. You've been watching What's Trending. Get more headlines on our ABC Columbia mobile app and at abccolumbia.com. I'm Kimberlei Davis. Be kind to each other. I hope that you have a great Monday, and thanks for watching.
Jared could be right. It is possible that there is internal bleeding. The testicular artery can retract up into the pelvis. It's rare, but it can happen.
The Good Doctor. New episode Monday, 10/9 Central on ABC.